Transformative Learning During Dialogic OD, Chapter 11 by Adrian Bradley and Tracy Hughes. Chapter 11, Transformative Learning During Dialogic OD, walks us through a model that provides useful tools and advice for working with individuals in the personal transformational change process. And any successful organization who is willing to take on transformation will require these tools. The model also offers useful tools and advice for working with people who will have to engage in the dialogic OD process and ultimately not only go through an organizational change, but a personal transformation themselves. According to Gilpin-Jackson, there is a gap that is perceived on literature regarding organizational change. Questions about the transformational change process have been largely unaddressed. Jackson believes if you can understand the underlying chain processes, you have the essential groundwork to facilitating successful transformational approaches. In doing so, you must get to the root of two questions. The first being, what is the underlying processes that individuals in transformational change experience? And the second, what are the underlying processes that groups and systems experience that result in organizational transformation?
Won't you join us in our transformative learning process? Mesereau states the transformative learning theory is a process transformation of our perspectives, mindsets, and habits of the mind. Make them emotionally open to change for reflection that optimally become more true and causes personal insight, which leads to action. This is a list of Mesereau's 10-phase process of transformative learning. Details of each phase will appear later in this presentation. These concepts have similar underlying premises in philosophical foundation, transformational process, and outcomes of change. For example, from a social science perspective, both involve social constructionalism. The change methods and process are narrative in nature, with an emphasis on change and the mindset needed to accomplish it. Change outcomes are similar through vision and action, with the alignment to meet all challenges.
Stage 1 is initiating the dialogic inquiry, requires an OD practitioner to make sense and meaning of the client's situation. So in this stage, you must test and prepare the client for the potential journey with the broader systems ahead and what you're actually going to be exploring. It is important to engage with your clients from a place of inquiry and joint meeting. So this can be done by using the first 3 phases of the individual transformative learning process outlined by Mesereau's guidepost. So those three phrases are: 1, a disorienting dilemma; 2, self-examination with feelings of fear, anger, guilt, or shame; and 3, a critical assessment of assumptions. Now, phase 1, the disorienting dilemma. As stated by Cranton, one of the core skills to facilitating the first three phases is posing questions that highlight the dilemmas inherent in the client's situation in a way that invites critical assessment of assumption and not really puts a negative tone on things. So in this stage is the motivation for transportation. So the dilemma is the catalyst for perspective transformation. Disorienting dilemma will expand the frame of reference and ultimately result in a higher level functioning with individuals and the organization. Questions in this stage should be designed from a place of exploration to move clients towards critical reflection and assessment of the issues that you're tackling. Also keep in mind that many feelings can come up in this phase. Which brings us to phase 2. The second phase is self-examination of feelings. This is a major sticking point. After phase 1, the client has faced a dilemma which has required not only an organizational assessment, but a self-assessment individually. So this can evoke many emotions such as anger, fear, and even guilt or blame. Cranton suggests spiraling and feeling questions be used to be most helpful while helping clients explore the emotions that they're feeling. So this also helps facilitate transformation and will provide impact and connections between all of the client experiences. The most effective spiraling questions uncover different layers of the issue, and this has the ability to draw more attention to the larger picture and the higher purpose and not stay in the weeds and the minutia. So questions that you can use in this phase is what is the larger intent? What is the bigger picture? Why does this matter? Why are we talking about it? And what will the impact of this change on people, on roles in the organization, the industry, and so on and so forth? Asking these questions will allow you to uncover the emotional issues related to the dilemma in phase 1. So there are two forms of critical assessment during the third phase of the transformative learning process. They are objective reframing and subjective reframing. Objective reframing includes assessments of the content, the process, and the task at hand. Subjective reframing includes a self-examination of the content, discussing the what, the why, and the how of the particular individual's feelings. In order to successfully work with clients, we must know that we have to initiate inquiry that requires both subjective and objective reframing. Doing this encourages new ideas that will compel the individuals that we're working with to think outside the box in a more beneficial way that will help aid in the growth of the organization. Stage 2, phases 4 through 6, shows how the individual in the transformative process is connected. This is done through the following three phases: recognition that one's discontent and the process of transformation are shared, exploration of options for new roles, relationships, and actions, and planning a course of action. So phase 4 is motivation for transformation comes from the dilemma, discontent, and overall need for what the transformation should look like. This is facilitated through a structured dialogic process. So this could be done through an open space, a world cafe, a future search, or many other methods. In working through a dialogic OD intervention, it allows all participants to be part of the movement while motivating one another. It requires actually trying out new ideas, roles, relationships, and actions in order to confirm the proven ideas that are developed. So this is a design phase that typically uses appreciative inquiry. It is important not to explore very narrow ideas too soon. And in this phase, your ideas move from abstract to the concrete, which ultimately helps individuals and groups agree on a single action that they can move forward with together through their visioning process. So planning for action is essential to the transformative learning journey. In this stage, it is important to create intentional but loose structures. We do this so that all participants are participating and feel that their voice is heard, but we still have structure around moving forward. 2 recommendations so that participants feel prompted to help self-organize and develop an action plan and feel like they're still part of the methodology moving forward is to develop a mentoring community or community action, which is naturally created through the dialogic process. And second, we can provide opportunities for committed action where learning experiences can be shared, and then we're continuing to take action with the dilemma that we've been discussing. To sustain dialogic transformation, it is important to create opportunities for follow-up to for those that are committed. So creating a structure to bring structured meetings of groups together periodically once things have settled and there's no longer a facilitator or practitioner needed is very helpful. After this, the final 4 of Mesereau's 10-phase suggested areas of importance to discuss are attended by individuals in group systems. And those are acquiring knowledge and skills or implementing plans, provisional trying of new roles, building competence and self-confidence in new roles and relationships, and a reintegration into one's life on the basis of conditions dictated by one's new perspective. So now that new norms will be established and new processes integrated into the system, it's important that you be able to give the opportunity to provide a follow-up forum or regular check-ins to have time and opportunity to check with the client. The ultimate test of transformation is phase 10 of the transformative learning process. This shows and proves that individuals and groups have reintegrated or redefined their lives by now having new ways of thinking, being, and then acting consistently.
In conclusion, Mesereau's 10-phase process of transformative learning runs linear within the 3 dialogic OD practices. This is represented in the table below. I hope you have enjoyed our journey with transformative learning during dialogic OD. Thank you.